Hey everybody, it's Triple L, and now let's talk some Darling in the Franxx episode 2. This is the episode where we got the opening, and I'll just say very quickly, the opening is very striking. I very much enjoy it. Anyway, let's just get right into the episode, and apologies if my voice sounds off, I'm a bit sick. Any hoosers, yeah, Darling in the Franxx episode 2. So, just think about how to start this off. You know what, I'm going to start with this bit first, because I think this is the funniest bit. This show is really sexual, but not like tasteless sexual. I mean like a mature appreciation for sexuality. No, not really. Like, it has its visual gags and it has its little moments, and I just kind of want to take you through it, because I can't start talking about this without just having to laugh a little bit first about how ridiculous some of this is. You know, it's always good to appreciate how ridiculous Trigger is sometimes, and like when you have choice scenes and choice positions like this, you know, it's just like, Trigger, I get the visual metaphor, like heck, even your choice of the camera angle for that particular one, I get it, and it's really funny, Trigger, like geez, mind you, I'm just gonna say this, the idea of putting the screen on the back of the girl's head in the helmet, that was both hilarious and clever. I never saw that coming, and you know what, it optimized the giant space that they have in there, in that robot. Really cool little detail, but it's just, again, it's really funny because you could see what this is. You could see what this position is, and it's not just sexual in I guess the way it shows off like how the kids are positioned inside the suits. There's also the terms, like again, Darling in the Franxx has a lot of terminology because Trigger just can't stop with the symbolism and the metaphors. And the newest ones for this week are stamen and pistil. I keep saying pistol, but it's pistil, I think. P-I-S-T-I-L. So for those that don't know plants, the pistil is what the girls are called, and pistils are the female sex organs for I think a plant or a flower. Let me just check that again just to make sure. I had it written down, but I need to make sure I got the right. Right, yeah, there we go. So pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower, and the stamen is the male reproductive organ of a flower. So very interesting. Again, it's just a very simple thing, but it's interesting like when you put it into a context of like what the kids are. You know, the girls are the pistils, the guys are the stamens, reproductive sex organs, whoop-de-doo. And then we also have the parasite thing, which is what all the kids are. And it's just interesting to see how exactly they're going to play into the parasite term, because like seeing that they're playing into the pistil and the stamen terms with what the kids and their genders are and without all that good stuff, how they play into the parasite, it's because a parasite is an unwanted organism. There's no benefit to having a parasite inside of you, and parasite extractions are usually some of the most disgusting things you can ever see. That said, it's one of those things where I just kind of want to see where exactly they want to take the metaphor. Anyway, yeah, back into this, and then we also have choice dialogue, like how the little kid says that he finished first, and it's just like, when you have the context that these kids are positioned this way inside those robots, it's like, all right, Trigger, I get it. You guys have a lot of funny jokes this time, man. Like a lot of jokes. But overall, it's just all in good fun. I just think it's ridiculous and just really funny how far Trigger is going with this. So let's see. I also have a few notes. I think it would just be better if I just read them off really quickly, and then we can just go off. I don't remember what I was thinking when I wrote these notes, but I'm just going to read them out. Darling in the Franxx episode 2, we got the names and the character introductions. Oh yes, I remember that. We had all the characters' names popping up. We just had that little scene in front of them. Oh sorry, we have that little scene with them at the beginning, and you had their name boxes. Hiro buried a bird. Naomi's okay. So this was really funny because initially when he was like at that little burial mound next to a tree, I thought that was Naomi. I thought that was his little burial to Naomi, which I thought, oh, holy, that's really hardcore. But then we found out that no, she was okay. She was the girl that got caught in that giant monster attack earlier. We had confirmation that that doctor's name is Dr. Franxx, so he's clearly the creator of the Franxx, or his family's the creator of the Franxx, and it's just funny that he got a badass robot named after him. I thought that was cool. There's conspiracy revolving around 02, so that was pretty interesting. This is most likely going to be a long-running element. Just we see that these old men want to keep their hands on 02, and they're talking about specimen. They also throw in a really strange line about aging, or the sample showed no signs of aging, something along those lines. Very interesting. It's hard to tell if it's talking about 02 or Hiro, although I am more inclined to believe it's Hiro. Maybe working with Zero Two ages people. I mean, we did see that her partner was an adult male, which is kind of weird considering that the people who are riding these robots are kids. Moving on. Oh, I have a note about helmet has screen, girls in doggy. Oh, yeah, my notes there gives it away. Again, the helmet was very, very impressionate to me. Oh, I have a quote here. I was the first to finish. Yeah, that's talking to the little munchkin. And then we had positions, and then Stamen and Pistol. Yeah, talked about that. And then the plot about inferiority. Okay, so that's pretty much revolving around Hiro. That's the majority of the episode. This was a kids fight kids episode, the kids work themselves out episode. Very interesting. And within that, we got the mechanics of the whatchamacallit, the Franxx. We found out like, hey, if you have a disharmonious relationship with your partner, the Franxx won't work as functioned. We also had a really cool little detail that the faces of the Franxx seem to be the girls' faces. So, because when the boys are talking, what they're talking to in those screens are the faces of the Franxx. That was very interesting, and I just kind of want to see, like, well, I want to see what the girls' faces are while the robots are active. It'd be interesting. And we also saw that the kids are getting into each other's minds, so maybe that's how the parasite plays into it. Like, you're technically invading another species or another body's system. I could see that being played in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I have the last little note. Zero Two was happy when it failed. So yeah, Zero Two, the best girl. Like, honestly, her and Ichigo have left bigger impressions on me than Hiro has, because Hiro is just kind of a reactive force. He's just kind of like dealing with the world around him. Like, good things happen around him, and then he's just the one playing catch up, which isn't the most captivating thing. I think Trigger is really good at writing their females, and that continues to be true here. And then the males, like Kiznaiver, that the male ended up being too much of a thinker, and Hiro as well is a thinker. He's a thinker. He has a lot of inner monologues. He has a lot of like reactions, and as we see in the episode, a lot of it's him realizing that he can pilot a Franxx. He wants to pilot a Franxx. He wants to keep trying. He keeps failing, and other people berate him, and he wants to prove himself. Then you have Zero Two, who like this isn't an episode for her, but you have her being really effective regardless. Like, she's quiet, she's listening, she's stoking the other girls on, she's like really messing with their heads. Well, not really messing with their heads, she's not doing it on purpose. Well, I don't know. Well, she's just messing with them, and it's just it's cool to see how confident she is. Like, when you see her offering to ride with Hiro at first, and then she gets told no, she's very mature regardless, and she's like, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead, do it, but don't hurt my darling. When she's smiling like that, you know that she knows that this isn't going to work out, and this is just going to be good to set a precedent and good to like establish to everyone else that she's the one that rides with Hiro. Like, the unspoken confidence for that character, really good. And this also again makes sense when you look at like the promotional images that like her touching Hiro's face, and she's on a higher plane, and he's looking up. She's pretty much like an idol to be worshipped by the boy. That's their relationship dynamic from like just the metaphors here. Like, she is the means to his freedom pretty much, and she's gonna allow him to get that freedom with her. That said, on the other side you have Ichigo, who is just well, she got a kiss in this episode, and she really wants the boy. So she's angsting a little bit, obviously, because she seems to have feelings for the boy, and she doesn't really know how to deal with them. And then you have best bro ever, who's pretty much okay with that and telling Hiro to just go for it. And it's just, he was probably one of the more refreshing elements of the episode. So yeah, if I was to say like top 3 characters for this episode, definitely Zero Two, then Ichigo, because she's moving the plot along, she's moving development along. Always appreciate that. And then best bro, because he's letting Hiro figure things out while using his partner. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the romance, because there was only one little thing that I thought was a bit ridiculous. Not ridiculous, I think was a bit shaky. And that is like how much knowledge the kids have of intimacy. Because there were 2 instances, the first one being everyone reacting to Zero Two calling Hiro darling, and the idea was they don't know what that means, or at least a good amount of them didn't know what that means, because there was even someone saying, what does that mean? And I thought, oh, you know what, that's neat. It's technically an English word. There's no real reason why Japanese speakers would know an English word. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. 02 is the one using it, and they don't understand what it means. But then you have the girls talking in the locker room talk, and they're saying, oh, how adorable, you know, she even calls him darling, and then, you know, what if they become a couple? And it's like Ichigo gets angry at that. All right, so at that point it establishes, well, do you know what a darling is or not? Or like, was there a little period of time where you found out? Or maybe it's common knowledge, just the boys don't know it and the girls do. We move on from there. Like, okay, that part actually can be explained if the viewer puts in the effort for it. But moving on from there, we then have the Ichigo and Hiro scene inside of the Franxx, where they're talking about the kiss. And the idea is that the kids don't know what kissing is. And I just found that funny because previously it was established that they know the idea of coupling. Oh, they're going to become a couple. So what exactly does a couple mean to them? Like, what is it to be in a couple? Because they already have a fairly intimate relationship because of the Franxx. What do they understand by couple? Like, because clearly they're making a distinction between the pairs that they get into for Franxx, but by the use of the word, what if they get into a couple, it creates a connotation that there's something that this is different from that, right? And it makes for an interesting conundrum, because these words have loaded romantic implications, and then they don't understand, or they don't know of the basic expressions of affection. It's just very interesting, and I think this is an issue of, like, at worst case, it's an issue of, like, this is technically one of those things you could call bad writing, but it's just a case of, like, missing the implication. Like, the implication's missed. Like, how much is, to what degree is their knowledge limited, pretty much? Trigger wants to create an image that these kids don't know of the basic means of affection, that these kids don't know how two people show their affection for one another, but the kids do know the idea of coupling, and most likely have an understanding of the loyalty that goes into coupling, because they gossip about it. So things like that, right? It's one of those style over logic type things. Or like they want to bring this point forward. It feels kind of off is all. But you know what? The fact that this is the thing that I'm like kind of zooming in on is really good, because otherwise the episode's really entertaining. Actually, this doesn't take away from the entertaining episode. I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I think Trigger's doing amazing things. They're so funny. But it's just like those little moments are just a little bit more awkward, just because like it's not establishing how much these kids actually know. Like, all I know right now is the kids know what coupling is. The kids may or may not know what a darling is in the connotations of it, and oh yeah, they don't know what kissing is, which is funny. Like, see, if in the next episode Ichigo tells them that they kissed, and then all the girls react as if they know what kissing is. Oh my god, that's so cute. Or so, you know, if they have that reaction, like, it's a context, it's a romantic context. How, like, okay, no, never mind. We can talk about that in the comments. It's just one of those little things, not a big deal. Episode really fun otherwise. The only big negative that I would say is that, you know, we didn't fight any monsters, but that's like whatever, man. We could wait for that. That'll come. We probably have at least 10 episodes of that, at least. I hope this is a 24 episode series. I need to check that. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling now. But thanks for watching. Till next time, I hope you have a great day.